Everything you need to know before buying a Cartier Santos-Dumont. We recently did a great video about the Santos collection, but the Santos-Dumont, although has similar history, very different watch, is categorized differently by Cartier and wears differently on the wrist.
Yeah, I mean, over the years, they've done many different versions of what they would call the Santos-Dumont. I still will die on the hill that I think the Santos is probably the most versatile watch in their collection. But the newest release of Santos-Dumont, little dressier, little understated, a little bit of separation maybe from its original, for sure, but definitely an elevated statement. So just absolutely loving this piece. For those of you who don't know, I'm George's Elizabeth. We are with Oliver Smith Jeweler. We're here at our flagship store in Scottsdale, Arizona, and we are experts in all things watches and want to help you learn more. So you can't talk about Santos without talking about Alberto Santos-Dumont. Alberto was a fascinating guy, kind of one of those most interesting guys in the world types. And I'm really truncating this guy's life. He did a lot of really interesting things, from his education to his inventing, but he was one of the pioneering aeronauts of the time. He went into something called airships, lighter than air transportation. Think blimp with a little basket underneath it and some fans to move you around. Yeah, absolutely terrifying. The timing mechanisms of the era were your pocket watch.
Right.
And that's kind of frustrating. There were a couple of ways to put your pocket watch into like a big piece of leather and put it on your wrist. And Dumont was also kind of a fashion plate at the time. So his good buddy, Louis Cartier, designed and patented the first timekeeping device with lugs to attach a strap to. So you can rightfully say that Cartier as a brand, as a historical maison, was the patent holder for the first wristwatch.
The original wristwatch.
Which I love.
So what we're going to talk about today is the current Santos-Dumont collection. Comes in a small size, large size, extra large. Now, generally, Cartier does not distinguish their watches between genders.
Correct.
We said that at our Santos videos, and then we got lots of comments that were like, you can look by him or her on the website. I understand that. However, from kind of a dealer side of it, it's always just small, medium, large, extra large. We don't distinguish between the watches between like a his or a her. Now, the Cartier measurement for the small is 38 millimeters by 27.5 millimeters. George, tell us how you would measure it, maybe a little differently.
Well, so what they're doing there is they're literally taking calipers and measuring the width and the lug length. Now, most of the time when you talk about, a Submariner being 41 millimeters, what you're doing is you're measuring the case from like 2 to 7, from edge to edge, and you're taking that into account. Very hard to do on a square watch. Some of the shaped watches, I had the same problem with some of the tonneau shaped stuff. So if you measure from those same parameters on this watch, you're really looking at about a 34.
Yep.
And I think that's a fair approximation. You look at it on the wrist, you go, yeah, it's probably about a 34.
And I feel like that's the appropriate size for this. When I look at it, I don't think 38, but
Yes.
I do feel like it wears a 34.
Well, it's funny because me looking at it, I would go 34, 36, 38, 39 is how my eye would see those and wearing it on the wrist.
So this is the small model for me on the wrist. I don't feel like it wears like a 38 millimeter.
Yeah.
It wears like a 34 millimeter.
Yeah, maybe 36 at the most, but again, measurements, your mileage may vary depending on how you like it. And the most important rule, I think, when it comes to this is if you think it's too small, if you think it's too big, you're right. It doesn't matter how my eye measures it or her eye measures it.
Yeah.
It's what appeals to you.
So 3 current models available in the small size: the stainless steel, which I have on, also the two-tone with rose gold.
Love that watch.
And then there's also an all rose gold with diamonds.
Yeah. It doesn't hurt to have the diamonds, fellas.
And the smaller all in quartz. So no medium size in the Santos-Dumont collection. That's only the Santos collection. So we're going to jump up to the large size. This measures 43.5 millimeters by 31.4 millimeters. Also still 7.3 millimeters thick. They, interestingly enough, are all 7.3 millimeters thick.
It's amazing. Yeah.
How would you measure this size, George?
I'd say 38. At least that's how it wears on my wrist, and then the big boy's gonna wear more like a 40. But yeah, 37, 38, which is perfect for that kind of timeshare. If everybody in the house wants to wear the same watch, this is the perfect watch for that.
It's a good size. Still in quartz.
Yes.
We have the stainless steel. Again, we have two-tone with rose gold. Also a solid rose gold model. And then in the large, they've done some different metals and some fun dials that have come and gone pretty quickly.
They had a blast with this watch. They did all those really cool skeletons, those enamel edges, threw some stones on it, just really celebrated this watch.
The rotor that Santos-Dumont plain. We were lucky enough to see one of the steel versions here.
Very cool piece.
Very cool. So then moving on to the extra large size. Now this measures 46.6 millimeters by 33.9 millimeters. But George, what would you say?
39 and a half. Okay. Like it wears like
not
a
a
slight
46.
40. Yeah,
It's
no,
not a
it's
46.
not. It's not a large watch by anybody's imagination. What I love here personally is they kept it thin. So the extra large is going to be a manual wind, which for those of us purists really speaks to me. I've got several manual winds in my collection. I absolutely love them. There's something about taking that time in the morning and winding your watch and just breathing, while you're having your coffee. I like manual wind watches. 7.3 millimeter watch, fabulous, man. Just curves of the wrist. It's a perfect watch.
It is amazing how they did that and kept it consistent. That's some Cartier magic for you.
Absolutely love that piece. If I play my cards right, this might be the one I wear to Watches and Wonders this year.
Yeah,
I like that. I dig that watch.
So comes in stainless steel, two-tone again, and then also in the rose gold.
Yeah, just the 3 on that one for now. Yeah.
And also want to note that it has a 30-meter water resistance, which again, I know you're not diving with this watch and it's not recommended, but I think it's kind of nice to know just going about life. You don't have to be too stressed about it.
Caught in the rain, washing your hands, you're like, okay, and be cognizant of it, but you're fine.
Yeah. And they all come on straps. There's no bracelet in the current Santos-Dumont collection, and I believe they all just come with one strap.
Correct.
So that should be everything you need to know when buying a Santos-Dumont. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. We do read the comments and we respond. We'll also link a video we just made to the Santos collection, so you can learn everything about that. If you're ever in Arizona or in Colorado, come visit us in Scottsdale and Aspen. We would love to meet you in person and chat more about watches.